I have officially beaten every single level of the hunt, every single game, all 100% completed. And I see a lot of people making videos on their thoughts on the hunt, which games are their favorite, which games could improve, stuff like that. But today I'm going to do something a little different. As you can see on my screen, we have a tier list and we have every single game that has ever been added to the hunt. I've played every single one of these. I've beaten every single one. And today we're going to be rating all 100 games in the hunt. Now I've done the math. If I spend 30 seconds giving my reasoning for every single game, this video is going to be like 20 minutes long. So I'm going to try and get through these as fast as possible. That way you guys know which ones you should be playing if you don't have time to play all of the games on the hunt. I'm going to explain which ones should just never be in another Roblox event again because they just didn't try at all. And just to make it clear, these are just my opinions and I'm going to be rating games based on how well they did the hunt event. They could have the best game ever, but if what they did for the hunt was extremely boring or extremely lazy, it's not going to go high on the tier list. So even if your favorite game doesn't get placed at the S tier, that doesn't mean the actual game's bad, it just means the event for the hunt was really boring. The link for this tier list will be down in the description if you want to make your own. And feel free to join our Discord and post in media what your tier list is. And go ahead and drop a comment down below which game you wish made it to the hunt but didn't participate. For me, it's actually Jailbreak. I think Jailbreak would have made a really cool event, but for some reason they just didn't participate. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started. By the way, you guys, I just finished editing the video and cutting it all down and it's still over 40 minutes. I talk a lot in this video, so what I recommend doing is clicking the gear in the bottom right. This works if you're on phone, TV, computer, anything. Click the gear, go to playback speed, and churn it either to 1.75 or 2 times. I just watched the whole thing in 2 times and I understood pretty much everything I said. It's really up to you. I would recommend watching it in 2 times so you're not sitting here for 40 minutes. So first up we have Barry's Obby. I'm gonna go ahead and put this in C tier. It was really boring. All you had to do was find like 10 donuts or something. And for me, all of the donuts were at the very beginning of the obby. So I basically beat it in less than a minute. It was super boring. Next is Roblox Drama Island. This is gonna go in D tier. All you have to do is survive until the groups merge. First of all, it doesn't tell you that anywhere. You just have to figure it out. Second of all, you don't have to do anything. You just play the game normally. It's super lazy and boring. Next up, we have Drive World. This one, I'm actually debating on putting the A tier, but I think I'm gonna go in B tier. For this one, you had to drive a car and you had to pick up scrap and you had to pick up the scrap and bring it back to a certain area. The reason it's not an A tier is you had to do it like times. It felt super dragged out. Actual game was really cool, but I feel like if you didn't have to drive back to the same exact place 8 times, it would have been a little better. Ultimate Football is going into D along with Football Fusion. In Football Fusion, you had to catch a ball and you had to tackle someone. That is very boring. Those mechanics are already in the game. And Ultimate Football, you just had to play through 4 quarters. It's super lazy. It's people farming playtime on their game. Next up, we have, I think this is like Play Like a Horse or something. I forget the actual game name. This one I'm actually gonna go ahead and put in A tier. I think it was really fun. The actual game I don't really care for, but what they did for the hunt, you had to teleport to a world and complete a race. It didn't take super long, but the actual map they made for the race was completely unique for, as far as I know, for the hunt, and I thought it was pretty fun. Next we have Fruit Battlegrounds. This is gonna go in D tier. If I could put it in anything less than D tier, I honestly would. In fact, I'm gonna go ahead and make a tier just for these kinds of games. There we go. I have officially added a Z tier. This is going in Z tier. Any game like this is going in Z tier, and I'm gonna explain why. For Fruit Battlegrounds, you need to level up a fruit to level 15 and you need to get a double kill. This game is exclusively looking for playtime. They do nothing unique except provide a difficult challenge that's going to make you play for a while, so they make a lot of money from premium payout. To get level 15, you just have to sit there and spam your ability, and you get XP every time you use your ability. So you're just sitting there spamming your ability. To get a double kill, the amount of people that actually play this game and are already like insanely high level, insanely good at the game, it's ridiculous. So it's almost impossible to get a double kill unless you find someone AFK, or if you find someone doing the hunt and they'll do it and they'll let you kill them. Fruit Battlegrounds was absolutely horrible. They should never be allowed to participate in another Roblox event. Slap battles. Now, I don't know really where to put slap battles. The thing about slap battles is the actual event was kind of cool, but it didn't tell you how to do it at all. You have to look up a video, or you just have to sit there trying to figure it out. If it actually told you where to go, it would probably go a little higher. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it in C tier. In slap battles, first of all, you have to find the little vault in the slap area. And then once you go down the vault, you have to talk to a certain guy, accept his quest, and then you have to go back up, float on a cloud to an island, have a certain slap tool, reach in a hole. It's very confusing. It would be a lot better if they actually told you how to do it, but they don't. So you're either sitting there for 30 minutes or you gotta look up a video. So it's going in C tier for that reason. Cheese Tower Defense, I thought was really fun. I'm gonna put in A tier. It's a new game, so it's not like perfect. In fact, I'm gonna drop it down to B tier only because it's really just a tower defense game. There's nothing special. They don't really do anything special for the hunt. They have a little bit of story to it based on the hunt, but the actual gameplay itself it's just the same. Lumberjack Simulator. I'm gonna go ahead and do all the simulators right now. Lumberjack Simulators going in Z. Strongman Simulators going in Z. Ninja Legends, Weapon Fighter, Muscle Legends, Legends of Speed, Arm Wrestling Simulator, and I believe that's all of the Z tier. Oh, and let's go ahead and put Pet Simulator down there. I'm a huge fan of Pet Simulator. Literally my whole channel's based off it. But I'm gonna have to put all of these simulator in Z tier because not a single one tried to do something unique for the event. All of them just involved sitting there for like 30 minutes playing the game. The worst one of them all was definitely Arm Wrestling Sim and Lumberjack Sim, because for those two, you just had to click. You didn't get any buff from pets, you didn't get any help from anything. You just had to sit there and click for like 30 minutes. It's absolutely horrible. None of these games, I mean, Pet Simulator, Muscle Legends, Legend of Speed, and Ninja Legends, they didn't even bother putting the hunt as their border or even the hunt logo or anything. All of them were just super lazy. None of them tried in the event at all. Next up, we have Club Roblox. Club Roblox is gonna be our first S tier. This game was super cool. The actual game itself, I don't know how I feel. I think it's like an RP game. I don't know for sure. But the actual gameplay itself, it had its own whole story. It's like you had to invade a building full of duck. It had obbies. It had missions. It was a lot of fun. And then once you defeat it, you see like the whole building come down. It's a super cool game. They put a lot of effort into the hunt, and honestly, I wish every game was put as much effort as games like this. Next up, we have Berry Avenue. For this game, all you had to do was like make some type of fruit bowl, but it was already stuff that's in the game, so it's basically a quest that was already there. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in C tier, only because you could do it really quick. It literally took like 5 minutes, and all the animations to actually make the fruit were pretty clean. They didn't really put a ton of effort. It had nothing to do with like the hunt feel, so that's why it's going in C tier. Now we have SCP-3008. 3008, so 3008 is like an IKEA game. You're in an IKEA, and at nighttime the employees try and kill you. All you had to do for the hunt was find a terminal, and then it would give you 3 random quests. Some of these quests were super easy, and some of these quests were super random, like you had to find a lemon, but there's only like a few lemons on the map. So I don't know, they did have a new feature, a new mechanic, which was doing those quests, which they don't usually have, but at the same time those quests just felt very boring, and it was just playing the game. It was nothing special, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it in C tier. Adopt Me's was actually really cool. I'm gonna go ahead and put Adopt Me in A tier. You got to go through these 3 portals that were all really well made. It wasn't super long, but you can tell that they put a lot of effort. Obviously, Adopt Me is like the richest game on Roblox. Like, the devs make so much money, so they can afford to make that kind of stuff. If it was a little longer, it'd probably be an S tier. but I'm gonna go ahead and put it in A tier. Now we have Car Dealership Tycoon. This one, I'm gonna have to put in C tier. For Car Dealership Tycoon, you had to find like 25 chocolate bunnies hidden around the map. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and slide it up to B tier because it was kind of fun. I did play it with my friends, so that made it a little bit more fun. If you're doing it alone, it might be a little boring. But at least they had a new model. It was a chocolate bunny. And you got to drive your car around, which you make money while doing it. So you progress through the game while completing the hunt. Next up, we have SCP Roleplay. This one was really fun. It would go in S tier. However, the developers simply missed the fact that their normal player base are really toxic and annoying. When you spawn into SCP Roleplay, you spawn in a jail cell, and you have to go through like this clearance area, and once you go through the clearance area, you get to queue up for the actual hunt. Unfortunately, the clearance area is guarded by actual players. They are players who chose the role of guard, and they will not let you through. If you attempt to walk through, they will kill you with a gun. No matter what, they will kill you because they're toxic players who just want everyone to die. So the only way to do this is to go into a private server where nobody is. But if you're in a private server, you have to do it alone, or if you have friends, you can play with them. But if you are playing alone and you want to play with other people, you don't have that option in this game. Other than that, it was a really cool hunt game, so I'm going to go ahead and put it in A tier. Next, we have Catalog Avatar Creator. This game was really fun. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in B tier because it was just a bunch of free models, free assets, but it did bring back the OG feel. It was basically 4 teams that had to fight each other. It was like the Red Cliff Knights, Core Blocks, Overseers, and then whatever the blue one is. I can't remember what the blue one is. And then you had to just win. It was as simple as that. You just had to win. So it wasn't super difficult. It did bring back a nice OG feel. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it in B tier. All right, now we have Livetopia. I don't know how to pronounce it. We're gonna go ahead and put Livetopia into B tier. It was kind of fun. You had to like find a safe and then do a few missions to eventually open the safe. Opening the safe is a little buggy because you have to do it inside your house, and sometimes your camera can get glitched into a wall and you can't actually complete the puzzle. You have to like reset it. So if maybe without that bug, it would go into A tier, but for now I'm gonna go ahead and put it into B tier. Big Paintball. Big Paintball is gonna have to go into D tier. The actual game's fun, so I didn't mind doing it, but all it is get like 50 kills or something. Super lazy, super lazy. Honestly, I'm thinking about putting it into C tier, but because 50 kills you can do in like 1 round, it doesn't take super long like the others down here. That's why it's going into D tier. Bed Wars. Now Bed Wars, the actual game is great. Unfortunately, the hunt felt a little strange. It was very laggy for me. I don't know if I just got on at a laggy time, but I'm gonna go ahead and put it into C tier. Basically, you have to like go into the special game mode, collect eggs. It was pretty cool. It was a fun game mode, but it was very laggy. You couldn't use kits, which I guess makes sense because then people would abuse broken kits. Honestly, when I compare it next to these, I'm just gonna go ahead and move it up 1 because they did put a little extra effort. There were some new models like for the eggs, so I'm gonna go ahead and stick it into B tier. Next, we have Undead Defense Tycoon. This one might be our next Z tier. This one you just have to kill, or you have to collect eggs which drop from zombies, and you have to like collect 150 of those eggs, and it's really difficult because first of all, not all of the zombies drop eggs. Second of all, you run out of ammo really quick and the zombies are really fast, so you're gonna be dying a lot. There was nothing special about this game. It was pretty much just farming playtime. I don't know if Tycoon should have even been included in the hunt, if I'm being honest. Next we have Astro Renaissance. I believe it's Astro, maybe it's Astral, something like that. This game was really fun. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in A tier. It would honestly go in S tier. This game was really well made. There were a ton of new assets, models, new map, new missions, everything. I've never played the actual game, but everything looked really cool. The reason it's not going into S tier is because of how buggy the final boss is. I fell through the map like 2 or 3 times during the final boss, and when you fall through the map, you get like stuck on this ledge. So you can't die in the void, and you can't reset your character, so you can't actually just like die and reset. You have to leave the game and join back, and when you join back, you have to do all of the missions over again to get up to the final boss. I had to do that twice. It was so annoying, and I don't know if I just got unlucky or if I was standing in the wrong spot. Either way, I kept falling through the map, so I don't know. I have to put that in A tier instead of S tier. Next, we have 2-player obby. This one was a little bit boring. It was just your standard 2-player obby. It was nothing special. That's why it's going to go into C tier. Next was the bike obby. This one is going into Z tier. And while we're doing that one, let's go ahead and throw snowboard obby into it right here. Both of these are just farming playtime, especially snowboard obby. But the challenge for snowboard obby is play the game for 15 minutes. That is by far the laziest mission is on the hunt. Play for 15 minutes. That is it. That is all you had to do. That can be coded in less than 10 lines of script. In less than 10 lines of code, they just coded the entire event. They got a message from Roblox asking to be in an official Roblox event, and they were like, all right, stand back, guys. I got this. And you have to play for 15 minutes. The bike obby, extremely buggy. There's like 30,000 game passes on your screen. They're just begging you to spend Robux. And you don't even have to complete the first 2 quests to like get the badge. You just have to complete the 3rd one, which is to complete World 4. And it takes forever to get to World 4 if you haven't played that game. My 2 friends who've never played that game literally spent over 30 minutes trying to get it because it takes so long. Next, we have Gunfight Arena. This one, you just had to play the game normally, and then once you killed someone, you had to pick up something that they dropped, and there's only a certain percentage chance that they drop something that you actually need. This one was pretty lazy. I'm just gonna go ahead and put it in D tier. It really felt like they were just trying to get a lot of playtime. Next, we have Treasure Hunt Simulator. This one was kind of unique. You had to find these 3 chests, but I'm pretty sure those chests were already in the game, so I'm also gonna go ahead and put this in D tier. Steep Steps was really fun. The actual game was really difficult. The game is always difficult. They can't change that. They're not gonna make it easy just because it's the hunt. The actual game was really cool. I'm honestly gonna put Steep Steps into S tier. You had to like go around the map and find these 5 things throughout doing the obby, and then at the end, the animations with all the doors were super neat. Next, we have Anime Dimension Simulator. This one is going into Z tier. Just another one farming for playtime. All you have to do is win 2 dimensions, which is basically 2 levels. It's super lazy. Like, they put no effort into it at all. Next up is the Strongest Battlegrounds. I didn't get to play this one. It was like, I don't know, I have to put it in Z tier because apparently the badge was broken, and so it just automatically like gave it to everyone. I don't know, it's really strange. It has to go in Z tier because you just couldn't play it. Next up is World 0. You had to like kill a certain amount of enemies. It was really lazy. This one's gonna go in D tier only because it didn't take super long. But I had already played World 0, so that might be why. I don't know how it was for new players. Brookhaven, you just had to go around and find eggs. It was kind of cool. The eggs were neat, and the actual event was cool because it like actually closed off an area that you had to search around. The eggs were big, so it was pretty easy to do. But it's only C tier because it wasn't super unique for a game like Brookhaven that has so much money. They could have made something way cooler. It looks like I might have swapped obby, but you're on a bike with Bike of Hell. Bike of Hell wasn't that bad. I think you just had to like beat 1, so I'm gonna go ahead and put in D tier. Obby, but you're on a bike is the one that needs to go into Z tier. Bike of Hell, I mean, it's still a boring event, but at least you could do it pretty quick since you only had to win 1 race. Murderers and Sheriffs was actually pretty cool. I'm gonna go ahead and put Murderers and Sheriffs into A tier. It had a unique room with unique challenges, and it didn't just straight up tell you what to do. You actually had to like look at these pictures and figure out what you had to do to beat it. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick that one into A tier. Toilet Tower Defense, you had to find eggs, which was cool. I guess that's what everyone thought the hunt was gonna be. It was gonna be searching for eggs. And the eggs were pretty well hidden, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it into B tier. It wasn't anything super crazy though, that's why it's not going any higher. Swordburst 3, the actual game is pretty fun, but the event, you have to kill enemies, and there's a very small chance they drop what you need, and you need to get like 10 of them. It takes quite a while if you don't have like good weapons and stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and put Swordburst 3 into D tier. Next is The Floor is Lava. I could write a book on how I hate The Floor is Lava. This developer makes so much money, yet continues to make the most boring events ever. First of all, you only get to play on the map you need to play on every like 8 rounds or something. Maybe it's 4 rounds. Either way, you need to wait a while, and when you join a game, it doesn't tell you how many rounds until the hunt, so server hopping isn't an option. So you have to just wait there and play through the normal game until you get to to the type of map that you need. And then once you get to that map, you have to defeat an obby that was purposely made very difficult when you have a lot of people. If you're doing it in a private server, it's really easy. But when you have a lot of people, there's these platforms that when you stand on, they disappear. And when you have 15 people trying to step on that platform, it's very rarely you get the chance to step by. And there's 2 of those platforms, by the way, so it's really difficult. And it also takes forever to actually collect the egg once you're standing next to it. So if you're cutting it close, you're just not gonna make it because you have to stand there and the lava's gonna kill you. Flora's lava is going into Z tier. This developer makes way too much money to be throwing out stuff like Tower Defense Simulator. Now, tower defense games, I was iffy about putting on the hunt. I thought it was gonna be a weird idea. But honestly, all the tower defense games weren't terrible. Tower Defense Simulator was definitely the best. You actually got a unique map with unique enemies, and the boss was actually core blocks. This was one of the few games that actually utilized the new core blocks in their event. Tower Defense Simulator, I'm gonna go ahead and put an A. I feel like everyone needs to experience that fight because it was really neat. Project Smash. Now, Project Smash, I've never played before, and so when I played it, honestly, it was one of the best Roblox games I've ever played. It is super well made, and I definitely recommend everyone check it out for the sole reason of the actual game being fun. However, the actual hunt event isn't that great. There is something that spawns on the map randomly, and it happens like every 5 minutes, and you just have to be the first one to go and get it. You could be on the other side of the map, and you're just guaranteed not to get it. It takes forever, so I'm gonna have to put it into D tier because it's very hard to do unless you get really lucky and it spawns right next to you. But again, the actual game is really fun, and I recommend people try it out. We have 31 games left to rank. If you made it this far in the video, go ahead and subscribe and comment "I'm a noob," just because I'm curious who's actually watching this far. Next up, we have Royal High. This one was kind of cool. You got to like fly around and like you had to collect a certain amount of eggs. It was really easy, but at the same time, it felt really boring. I'm gonna go ahead and put this one in B tier because it was a very small map and it was just really easy. Next, we have Bayside High School or Bayside RP. This one for me is gonna have to go up into A tier. It was really short and sweet. You could beat it in like 5 minutes or less, but it was really cool. You like fell asleep. It had a little bit of a story and you like dream about being in some band, and it's a rhythm game. So if you don't like rhythm games, maybe stay away from it. But I love rhythm games, so it was a blast for me. Now we have Tsunami the game. This one's gonna go down in D tier. You had to like get to the end and then go through a hole, and it was basically just running simulator. It was really boring. You just had to run to this alien and that's it. Then you get the badge. It was really boring. Now we have Blade Ball. This one is gonna be another Z tier. For some people, it was really easy. You only had to like get 3 kills and then like win a game. But then I even watched Fulton's video and his was easier than mine. I got the most difficult one ever. I had to like get 100 kills. I had to play 50 games. I had to deflect the ball 300 times. I don't know why it took forever for me. Either way, even if it was an easier one, it's super boring. It's just playing the game. Super, super boring. Especially for a game like Blade Ball that makes so much money. They should be making something a little better. Natural Disaster Survival. When this one first came out, it was super difficult because there was only like 1 clock on the map, and you didn't get to split that one. You just had to use that one. But I feel like now they've updated it, so now there's like multiple clocks on the map, so it's a little easier to do. Either way, it was pretty fun, but a little boring, so I'm gonna put it in B tier. Now we have Mega Hide and Seek. This one was really boring. Another Z tier. You just had to win 2 rounds. Super, super lazy and boring. And now we have Need More Friends. This one I'm gonna have to put up into... I'm struggling with this one. I'd like to put it in A tier because it was pretty fun and it was a silly little story, but I think the story's normally like that. What they actually did for the hunt was you had to like find 10 eggs or something. They were pretty well hidden, and the actual gameplay is pretty cool, so it made finding them pretty fun. But since all you had to do was find eggs, I'm gonna put it into B tier. Now we have Hello Kitty Cafe. This one's gonna have to be another Z tier. You didn't do anything special other than have to get a certain amount of customers. Maple Hospitals was pretty cool, so we'll go ahead and put this one into A tier. It was a little buggy for a lot of people. The arrow wouldn't show up, but if it isn't buggy for you, the actual story is really cool. Greenvilles, you just had to go around the map, but you also got to like complete these unique quests, so it was kind of fun, but it also was really time consuming, so I'm gonna put it in C tier. SpongeBob Simulator, it is SpongeBob, which is giving me some bias to put it higher, but all you had to do was pretty much play the game, and if you hadn't played the game already, it's going to take quite some time. So I'm going to have to put SpongeBob into D tier, unfortunately. Now we have the Break-In. Break-In, we're also going to have to put into D tier. You just had to play the game and get to a certain point, but it wasn't super difficult, so it's not going to go any lower. Piggy. Piggy is going to be our third S tier. Listen, I hate the normal game Piggy. I think the story's like kind of dumb. I think it's a pretty boring game. But this event was really cool. It was super unique. It was like you had to find codes, and then once you found that, you got to a new world and you had to do something there. I hadn't played Piggy for a couple of years, so maybe I just used to be bored of it and that's why I hated it, but the event was really fun. It was really well made. Now we have the soccer game or football, whatever it's called. It's gonna have to go into Z tier. Actually, we'll put it into D tier. It wasn't super hard. We'll put it right next to these football games because it was basically, they're all the same. You just have to play the game normally. Now we have Sonic Speed Simulator. This one I'm gonna go ahead and put into C tier. You had to go to this unique world, but you just had to find like 100 of these crystals. It wasn't super difficult, but it also wasn't like super fun. And the crystals respawn, so you just have to like sit in an area and just keep collecting them. Combat Warriors was really lazy. It's gonna go into D tier. I love Combat Warriors. I think the actual game's super fun, but all you had to do was like get 150 points, and you get 2 points for killing, 1 point for assisting. So it's just normal. It was just the normal game, but since the actual normal game isn't that boring, it made doing the event pretty fun to do. Now we have Deadly Decisions. This one's gonna go all the way up into A tier. This is honestly exactly what I'm looking for in an event. If they're not able to pull off super unique stuff like what S tier did, this is what I want to see. They took their normal base game, but they made a twist. They made a special mode or a special version of it for the hunt. Basically, Deadly Decisions is a trivia game, but they made a whole trivia based off Roblox and its history. So it was like, who's the co-founder of Roblox? When were ticks removed from the game? It was really fun. Next up, we have Creatures of Sonaria. All you had to do for this one was really just complete a mission in the game. Actually, there were like 4 missions, and they all just involved playing the game normally, so it's gonna go into D tier. There was nothing special about it at all. Dragon Adventures, I'm gonna go ahead and put into B tier. It was pretty fun. It had like a unique story. You had to like find this mom's eggs and return it to her. It was pretty cool, and flying the dragon around was pretty fun. The Mimic, you had to go around. The Mimic, okay, this is, I usually don't like the Mimic, so I might be having some bias here, but I feel like the bunny was super poorly designed. Like, the coding was just terrible. He would just either hard target someone forever and ignore everyone else, or he would just be stuck in a part of the map and couldn't move anywhere. So I'm gonna have to put it into D tier. You had to go around and find the eggs, which is kind of cool, I guess. But the bunny just felt super bugged. For the first half, he would only go for me until I had my friends go up to him and just keep distracting him. And once the bunny locked onto them, he just kept going for them for the rest of the time. So I spent like 10 minutes running for my life, not being able to do anything, and the other 10 minutes just not scared at all and just, you know, getting the eggs without any threat. Now we have Mega Mansion Tycoon, or whatever it's called. This one's gonna have to go into Z tier. You just had to buy a certain amount of stuff, and it can take a while if you're not already progressed because you're gonna be barely making any money. It felt really boring. Now we have Survival the Game. This one is gonna go into B tier. It had a unique boss that you had to find around the map, and you just had to kill him. It was pretty quick, but the boss was pretty cool. And as long as you had a friend to do it with, you didn't really need to grind for anything. You could just kill them with what you spawn with. Now we have Twilight Daycare. This one is gonna go into D tier. It's just basically doing whatever you need to do. They're called needs in the game, so like if you're a baby, you have to like have your bottle, or you need to eat, or whatever it is. You need to complete 3 needs. It was pretty boring. Dungeon Quest is also going to go into D tier. All you had to do was kill 2 bosses and then kill a certain amount of enemies or something. Just really boring stuff that's already in the game. Run from Ahead is going to go into Z tier. It was literally just the normal game, except you had to beat 3 levels. but the levels were already in the game. It was nothing special. Warrior Catch was pretty cool. You had to find eggs, and there were only a limited amount of eggs on the map, which I liked, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it into B tier. I like the egg hunting games as long as you're hunting for eggs that are unique and you can only find one of them. I don't like when they just respawn. It just feels lazy and boring. These ones are actually well hidden, and you only need to collect 3 for the badge, and if you collect more, you just get bonuses in the game. I thought it was pretty cool. For Driving Empire, you just had to collect 30 eggs and then complete 3 races. It was really easy to do, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it into C tier, but at the same time, it was kind of boring. My Restaurant is gonna be another Z tier. Thought about putting it into D tier, but it's just no effort at all. You have to like get 50 customers or something, just like the Hello Kitty one, so it's gonna go right next to it. Lumber Tycoon 2's was pretty cool. It was quick and straight to the point, but it was still unique. You had to find a cave, and then you had to give him a piece of wood, and then in return he would give you an egg, which you had to then bring back to the store. It was pretty neat. Arsenal is going to be our 4th S tier. I'm sure anyone who's played Arsenal could see this coming. They took their normal gun game version and turned it into like a Call of Duty story mode mission. It was super cool. It had voice acting. It had really well made maps. It had everything. It was super cool. Metro Life is gonna be a Z tier. All you had to do was go up in a hot air balloon, which is super slow, and you had to collect like 10 of these coins or whatever's in the sky. I forget what it is. Super lazy and boring. They're just farming playtime. Funky Friday is gonna go into C tier. At least they had 4 unique songs that they made, but again, there's 4 of them, so it takes quite a while. And it's nothing special. I mean, they just made 4 new songs. That's it. The actual gameplay is just the same. RB Battles is going to be our 5th S tier. The animations in this game are amazing. There are 2 different game modes you can play. You can play a rat battle where you have to kill a bunch of rats, or you can play a rap battle, which is like a rhythm game. I played the rap battle and it was honestly so funny. Like, it just slowly pans to all the rats just sitting there. Like, they're really cute and it's really funny. I thought it was really funny. This guy, he actually is like rapping and then you have to like mimic him, kind of like Funky Friday. This one was just, it was amazing. Honestly, this might be my favorite. At the end, I'm gonna go ahead and rank all of the S tiers from best to worst. Next, we have War Tycoon. This one was terrible. It's going into Z tier. You had to like go around the map, and it literally took me and my friends like an hour to do, because you have to find these boxes that randomly spawn, but they could be anywhere. It takes forever because sometimes they don't spawn at all and it takes just ages. Elemental Powers Tycoon is it's gonna be a D tier. It would be Z tier, but you can do it pretty quick. All you have to do is beat the tycoon and then defeat a boss that's in the center of the map. It's really easy. Now we have Red Cliff City RP. This one's gonna have to be a C tier. I mean, it's cool. You have to like find these 3 things around the map, and there's an arrow pointed at them, so it's really easy to do. You can just spawn in a car, which are free. Wasn't horrible, but it wasn't anything super special. Restaurant Tycoon 2 is gonna be put into D tier. It was better than My Restaurant because you didn't just have to get 50 customers and you were done. Each customer had a random chance of dropping like these eggs. Sometimes they would drop double, and you had to collect like a certain amount of the eggs. It was pretty easy, so that's why it's going into D tier. Dress to Impress is gonna go into C tier because it's really easy to do, and the bunnies are pretty cute. Basically, you have to find these 20 bunnies that are jumping about, and then once you find those 20, you have to play around and do it again, which is pretty boring, but the bunnies are cute, so that's why it's going into C tier. And it looked like the bunnies and all the new models were actually like made and they weren't just free asset. Spray paint is gonna go into A tier. This one was really neat. You had to like go down into the sewers and find this guy's spray cans, or maybe it was something. You had to find something, and then you had to draw him or else he like wouldn't help you. You had to like make a spray paint portrait of him. It was really neat. I like spray paint. Next we have Military Tycoon. This one's similar to War Tycoon except a little bit easier, so it's gonna go into D tier. You just have to find these crates around the map. Honestly, I might be getting these swapped, but I'm pretty sure this is correct. This one should spawn 2 in your tycoon and everyone's tycoon, so you just go up to people's tycoons and you can get 2 each. You only have to collect like 10. It's really easy. War Tycoon, they all spawn in the center of the map, and it takes ages. Survive the Killer is gonna go into B tier. I'm tempted to put it into A tier, but it's a little too simple. It's very similar to Natural Disaster, except a little bit easier. You just have to find this like capsule in the map, and then you have to survive until the next round, and then put it into some generator, which you then get the badge. Next, we have A Wolf or Other. This is basically just Murder Mystery 2. I honestly don't know why this one was included and Murder Mystery 2 wasn't. It's pretty bad. I'm gonna put it in D tier. Tempted to put it into Z tier. However, it's not super difficult, and you can do it pretty quick if you just get a private server. Well, then again, private servers cost money, so I think what I did, I just found an empty server. But basically, you just have to get the egg and win the round with the egg. It's really easy to do as the wolf, because whenever you kill someone, you get the egg, and you just have to make sure you don't get killed by the sheriff. But if you don't get the wolf, it is very, very difficult. Car Crushers 2, I'm gonna put in C tier. It felt really buggy once you got to the derby part, because sometimes it wouldn't spawn you into the derby. Sometimes if you played the derby, it wouldn't complete the badge. There's like 7 missions you have to do, and I think the fifth mission is about the derby, and it was just too buggy for me to put it any higher than C tier. Emergency Response is also gonna go into C tier. It was pretty fun. You had to like complete these riddles hidden around the map, but the issue is you're not really gonna understand what the riddles mean if you don't play the game, because it's describing things in the game that you'll have no idea what they're talking about unless you play it, and most people haven't played it, so people like me are gonna have to look up YouTube videos. But it was still unique riddles, and they didn't just hide random stuff. They actually like kind of hinted you where they were, and you have to figure it out. Doors is going to be our 5th S tier. Doors was amazing. They took their normal game and added a new mechanic, which was a time limit. It was super under pressure. It was nothing super stressful though, because there weren't like bosses. You just had to be really, really quick. I loved it. It was really fun. Next is Shindo Life. This one's gonna be in D tier. First of all, the movement feels very weird. You like walk super, super slow, so you have to jump around and find these super tiny eggs. The reason it's not going into Z tier is because you can actually work with your teammates, so it makes it a little bit easier since you're all working together. But the eggs are just so small, and they don't always spawn in the same place, so you can't really just watch a video. You have to find them, and it takes quite a long time, unless you get really lucky and you just find them all. Next is Collect All Pets. This one's also going to go into D tier. It would go into Z tier, however, it's pretty easy. You just have to basically find 30 pets. You have to collect 30 pets. It's just the normal game mechanic. They're pretty much just farming playtime. Not a fan of it. Life Togethers was actually kind of cool. I'm going to go ahead and put it into A tier. It wasn't anything super amazing like S tier. In fact, I'm going to put it into B tier. I don't think it's on par with all of these. But basically, you had to find eggs and you had to take a picture of them. The actual picture mechanic was pretty cool. I think that was already in the game, but it was still pretty neat. And all the eggs are in a small little playground, so they aren't super difficult to find. Next, we have War Machines. This game is super neat. Like, you literally get to play as Iron Man. The physics are really cool. The animations are really cool. However, it's going to go into D tier because you just have to like kill a certain amount of enemies. It's super boring. Now we have Death Ball. This one is significantly better than Blade Ball, and they're not even as big as Blade Ball. Like, it's crazy how Blade Ball gets beaten out by a copy of their game, except this one's just way better. You have to like fight a giant core blocks. Honestly, I'm going to go ahead and put this one in A tier because it's really cool. You literally work with your team to fight a giant core blocks. It has the basic Death Ball mechanics of having to deflect the ball, but you actually have to like jump over the enemy's attacks and like dodge them. It's really neat. Now we have All-Star Tower Defense. This one was really boring. You just had to like survive until wave 10. It was really easy, but boring, so it's going into D tier. And then Please Donate is going to be our final S tier. That means we're ending with 6 S tiers here, or 7 S tiers actually. Please Donate was really fun. You would think, okay, it's literally a Robux game. How can it possibly be fun? It's fun, guys. Like, you don't just donate Robux in this one. In this event, you have to like talk to this guy who's like all animated and voice acted really well. Then you have to like go and hack something. Then you have to dig for treasure. It was really neat. So this right here is gonna be my official tier list. Feel free to comment down below if you disagree with any of these. And now I wanna put the S tiers in order from best to worst. I think the worst of all of these is going to be Steep Steps. Although really good, all of these are amazing. Steep Steps definitely didn't put as much work and it wasn't as unique as all of these. Despite it being a new map, the end animations were really cool. It just wasn't as unique as all of these. Club Roblox is going to be second to last. It was really neat invading a room full of ducks, but at the same time, compared to all of these, it's just got to be second to last. At number 5, honestly, I'm gonna keep Doors there. Doors was really fun, don't get me wrong, but they only introduced one new mechanic, and compared to all of these that had so much more, I'm just gonna have to put it number 5. And then we're gonna have Piggy right after Doors. Piggy was super cool, had a whole new map, whole new things. It was really fun, but these 3 right here stand out compared to all of the Hunt games by far. Please Donate, I'm gonna keep right here at number 3. Only because it was a little short and the digging at the end felt a little bit tedious, but it wasn't super overwhelming. So I'm going to keep that one at number 3. And then Arsenal is going to be the best Hunt game right next to RB Battles. RB Battles was really well made. It was really funny if you pick Rat Battle. I don't know about the Rat Battle with the guns and killing the rats. I don't know about that one, but Rat Battle was really fun. If you already played the Rat Battle one, you're actually able to go back and use the shard, and I recommend giving Rat Battle a try because it was really funny. Arsenal is number 1. It was amazing. It literally felt like a Call of Duty level mission, completely unique map. It was basically a new game. It felt nothing like the normal Arsenal. It was so cool. It had voice acting, it had a story, it had everything. This was easily the number 1 best map in the Hunt. Anyways, you guys, this is the official tier list. Make sure to let me know down in the comments if you made it to the end. I know this is a different video from what I usually make. I usually make Pet Sim, but I just thought, why not? I don't think this video is probably going to do very well. I haven't seen anyone make a tier list, so I figured I might as well. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.